So solving by substitution. Usually what ends up happening when you're solving for substitution, by substitution, is one of the equations has either an x that's by itself or a y that's by itself. Okay, on your quiz, I'm going to tell you to solve by substitution. On your homework tonight, it's all substitution. On the review, I tell you what to do. But normally, you would look at, is there one variable that just is an x or just is a y? So in this first example, our first step, we're going to take equation 1, and we're going to solve equation 1 for y, like we did yesterday. So I'm going to take equation 1, and I'm going to make this y equals negative 2x plus 1. So I moved the x. Yesterday we wanted both things to be y equals. Today we only want one equation to either be an x equals or a y equals. So then I'm going to substitute this into the y in equation 2. Okay, so I solved equation 1 for y. I'm going to plug that in for y in equation 2. So you get x plus 2 times negative 2x plus 1 equals 5. So that's the substitution. I took the y out. I plugged the negative 2x plus 1 in. Right? Isn't that what substitution is? You take one thing out, you put another thing in. Now, this is just algebra. X plus, I got to distribute the 2. Okay, so negative 4x plus 2 equals 5. Be careful, especially on the homework tonight, you may have to distribute a negative. Okay, so we plugged in that. I just multiply everything by 2. Did I do it wrong? No. Now, I can combine like terms here. Negative 3x plus 2 equals 5. Now what should I do to both sides? Subtract the 2. So we get negative 3x equals 3. Divide by negative 3, and you get x equals negative 1. That's the hardest part about solving by substitution, is this work right here. Now that I have x, remember your final answer, what did I do?
Where do you get the x plus 2 from?
X plus, this part, it's the beginning of this part.
Oh.
It's the beginning of equation 2. This is it. So we rewrote equation 1, this is equation 2. See how that works? So I put this in here. Yes. Okay, good. Now that I have x, I can plug negative 1 into either one of the equations and solve for y. I'm going to go with equation 1. So 2x, nope, there. 2 times negative 1 plus y will equal 1. So I put it back into equation 1. What's 2 times negative 1? Now what should I do? Add 2. So y equals 3. So my answer is negative 1, 3. Okay, you can plug it into either one of the original equations. Don't plug it into this guy, into the one you moved, in case you did something wrong. You can plug it into either one of the original equations. Okay, so that's kind of the process. Now, we're going to do, I don't know if we're going to do all 6 examples, but let's keep going. So let's try this one. So do you see how I'm going to label this equation 1, this equation 2? Do you see how equation 2 is already in a y equals form? Oh my gosh, this is not working. No. There we go. Do you see how equation 2 is already in a y equals form? So instead of having to change things, I'm just going to substitute this in where y is in equation 1. So I'm going to take y out of equation 1. I'm going to plug in 3x, negative 3x minus 19. So negative 3x minus 19 minus 2x equals 21. So it's basically like combining two equations so you only get one. But you only can solve for one variable. You don't know how to solve for two variables in one equation. So that's why we substitute one out. Okay, then combine like terms. So negative 3x and negative 2x make negative 5x minus 19 equals 21. Now what should I do to both sides? Good. So negative 5x equals, thank you. And then divide. So once you see this ends up kind of being the same process over and over again. So I get x equals negative 8. This chunk is the hardest part. Once you get your x or your y value, I can just plug this into equation 2 to find y. So y equals negative 3, this is equation 2, times negative 8 minus 19. So y equals 24 minus 19. So y equals 5. Negative 8, 5. You can always check your answers, but I don't care if you don't. But you should always get one answer. And they should be nice whole numbers. Because I just did your homework this morning. Okay, questions so far? Do you guys remember this? Sort of. Those of you who are paying attention. Okay, now number 2. We have options. Because both equation 1 and equation 2 has a y that's by itself. So which one do you want to rewrite? Equation 1 or equation 2? You want to rewrite equation 2. So then you get positives. So equation 2 is going to become y equals 5x plus 5. Because I just moved the negative 5x. Oh my gosh, don't do this. Okay, we're going to have to leave it here. So, this is now our equation 2. Do not substitute, this is the mistake people always make. They substitute it back into the original equation, and then something goes haywire. You want to substitute this into equation 1. So if you rewrite equation 2, you substitute it into 1. If you rewrite 1, you substitute it into 2. Does that make sense? So 5x plus 5 plus 4x equals 5. Combine like terms. 9x plus 5 equals 5. I hear you talking. So 9x equals 0, right? It's okay. You can get x equals 0, y equals 0. That's fine. X just equals 0 here. You'll never get something where like the x's cancel out or the y's cancel out. Now, you want to plug this back into 1 or 2? 2? So negative 5 times 0 plus y will equal 5. But that just goes away, right? So y equals 5. So you end up with 0, 5 as your final answer. Remember, whenever you give me your final answer, it needs to be an ordered pair. Just be careful on the way you order it. Do you think we can skip the next one and go to the x equals? Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize I had made 8 examples. Okay, so now on this page, I kind of set it up where you're going to solve for x. On this side, we switched it so one of the equations was a y equals, and you solved for x first. Now I'm going to flip it. Okay, your homework tonight, you're going to go back and forth. Just look for, like in this one, see how the x is the only variable that's by itself? That means I need to solve equation 2 so that it's an x equals. Because it's the only variable that doesn't have a coefficient. So equation 2 becomes x equals 4y plus 9. Now I'm going to plug this 4y plus 9 into equation 1 for x. So they go into equation 1 where the x is. So 2 times 4y plus 9 plus 5y equals 5. But then the process is the same. You distribute, you combine like terms. So that's why I find a lot of students actually do like substitution better. Because once you get to this part, it's just math. Then combine like terms. 8y and 5y make 13y. Subtract the 18. (13y) equals negative 13. So y is negative 1. Now, plug this back in. You want to plug it in equation 1 or equation 2? 2? What are you two chatting about? So let's plug it into equation 2. X minus 4 times negative 1 equals 9. This is actually a good example because what's a negative times a negative? So this becomes x plus 4 equals 9. Okay, be very, very careful about your positives and negatives. So x equals 5. So then your answer is 5, negative 1. Okay, be careful of the order. Because in these ones we're solving for y first. Question. Let's do a couple more. So in all of these examples here, we have, see how you have an x that's by itself? That's how you know that's what you have to solve for. Okay, so let's look at number 4. So I'm going to take equation 1, and I'm going to make it so that it's an x equals. So x equals negative 3y minus 10. Because that's the one where x is alone. Then I'm going to take this and substitute it into equation 2 for x. So 7 times negative 3y minus 10 minus 5y equals 34. And then you distribute. So negative 21y minus 70 minus 5y equals 34. It's a lot of negatives happening. Combine like terms. Negative 26y minus 70 equals 34. Now what should I do to both sides? 34 and 70 makes 104. And then divide by negative 26, you get negative 4. So, you'll see on Monday, Monday elimination, the first variable is easy to find, the second one's harder. This first one's harder to find, but the second one's easy. So I can plug this in. You want to do equation 1 or equation 2? Yeah, because 1's got the x by itself. So x plus 3 times negative 4 equals negative 10. So x minus 12 equals negative 10. So what's my last step? Add 12. So x equals 2. So then my answer is 2, negative 4. Questions? Let's do 5 or 6. Which one do you want to do? Let's do 5. So for equation 1, for 5, I'm going to move the negative 4y. I'm going to switch to equation 2. So this becomes x equals 4y minus 2. Now I got to plug this into equation 1 where the x is. So 6 times 4y minus 2 minus 7y equals 22. Distribute this 6. 24y minus 12 minus 7y equals 22. Combine like terms. (24 minus 7 is 17y. Then you add 12. 17y equals 34. Yep. So y is 2. Now, do you want to plug that back into equation 1 or equation 2? 2, I agree. X minus 4 times 2 equals negative 2. So x minus 8 equals negative 2. Notice we're picking the ones that have a variable by itself. Just one less step. So x equals 6. Okay, does that make sense? Everybody get questions?